What is capital market? So capital markets are venues where savings and investments are channeled between suppliers who have capital and those who are in needs of capital. The entities that have capital includes retail and institutional investors, while those who seek capitals are businesses, governments, and people. It is a market for long-term securities that includes both debt and equity companies and governments who can raise long-term funds or more than a year through these markets. Also, capital markets are composed of primary and secondary markets. The most common capital markets are the stock markets and the bond markets. So what is bond markets? The bond markets, often called debt markets, fixed income market, or credit market, is the collective name given to all trades and issues of debt securities. Governments typically issue bonds in order to raise capital to pay down debts and fund infrastructural improvements. Also, the bond markets broadly describe a marketplace where investors buy debt securities that are brought to the market by either governmental entities or publicly traded corporation. So what is government bonds? A government bond is a debt security issued by a government and sold to investors to support government spendings. Some government bonds may pay periodic interest payments, and other government bonds do not pay coupons and are sold at a discount instead. Government bonds are considered low-risk investment since the government backs them. Because of their relative low risk, government bonds typically pay low interest rates. The issuance of Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or BSP securities. The BSP securities are monetary instruments issued by the BSP for its monetary policy implementation and liquidity management operations to steer short-term market interest rates towards the policy rate and influence liquidity condition in the financial system. The issuance of BSP securities provides the BSP with greater flexibility in managing the liquidity in the financial system, particularly in the face of large structural liquidity surplus arising from capital flows or additional liquidity release from the reduction in the reserve requirement ratios of banks.
National government to borrow another 540 billion pesos from BSP. The Philippine government has asked for a new loan of 540 billion pesos from the central bank, the maximum allowed by the previous stimulus law meant to fight the coronavirus pandemic, with the same terms as the previous borrowing. In a mobile phone message to reporters, Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas or BSP Governor Benjamin Diokno said that the request has yet to be approved but will be submitted to the Monetary Board soon. The national government has requested for fresh provisional advance of 540 billion pesos to be settled on or before December 29, 2020 at zero interest, he said. The new economic stimulus package passed by Congress and signed by President Rodrigo Duterte recently raised the amount that the central bank can lend to the national government to 30% of its average revenue, up from 20% under the central bank charter. This effectively raises the amount of loans the BSP can extend to the national government to 850 billion pesos from the previous 540 billion pesos. Under the scheme, the Treasury issued debt securities which the central bank bought. The money that the Treasury received from this transaction was used to fund the government's public health spending.
What is private equity companies? A private equity company is an investment management company that provides financial backing and makes investments in the private equity of startup or operating companies through a variety of loosely affiliated investment strategies including leverage buyout, venture capital, and growth capital. Often described as a financial sponsor, each firm will raise funds that will be invested in accordance with one or more specific investment strategies. Typically, a private equity company will raise pools of capital or private equity funds that supplied equity contributions for these transactions. Private equity firms will receive a periodic management fee as well as a share in the profits earned or carried interest from each private equity fund managed.
MFT Group of Companies.
It is a private equity firm based in Manila, Philippines. The firm primarily invests in family legacy business with the goal of maximizing the value of its portfolio companies through strategic and transformation solutions in the areas of finance, marketing, and operations, thus providing sustained premium returns to stockholders. MFT buys into different sectors such as finance, real estate, medical equipment, food and beverages, lifestyle and entertainment. The private equity can come and expand the business to save the business or to take it global. That's why private equity does. Presence in the Philippines, US, Europe, Hong Kong, Singapore, Japan, Malaysia, Vietnam, and Indonesia. The MFT Group of Companies continually seeks investment opportunities all over the globe, strongly moving forward in fulfilling its mission. MFT buys into different companies with majority stake and sometimes influential minority. MFT grew its assets portfolio to about 3.2 billion as of June this year. Compared to last year, they grew it by about 47%. In terms of revenue, they outperformed 2017 by 57%. MFT Group is approached every day by different size companies of all sizes. Their asset business invests in a range of tangible fixed and long-term assets through strategic partnership and subsidiaries from finance and banking to medical and food beverage around the world. Their rapidly increasing global footprint, their investments span a wide range of industries around the world in established and growth-oriented business alike.
After being so focused in building MFT Group and growing the organization, I thought it would be very nice to step back and be able to share what I've learned over the past 2 years to these budding entrepreneurs. Personally, I'm looking for entrepreneurs who, one, aren't afraid to ask how to understand the market, the situation of the business. At the end of the day, we don't bet on strategies, we bet on people.